Alright, time to turn up some heat on this weapon review and get into the firearms. We're going to start with the usual, the pistols, and the first one I'm going to overview is the LEMI. Alright, just take a second and inspect that awesome visual quality again. And this is where I'm going to throw back to my Resident Evil 4 weapon review, a very iconic moment. Who remembers this?
Oh my god, look at that awesome quality right there. Nothing compared to my previous version. Not this piece of shit. This awesomeness right here. You just can't freaking compare.
Well, now I'm back about 8 years later, and I'm gonna repeat myself. Look at that visual quality. You just can't compare. Not this piece of shit, and for sure not this garbage heap. This right here. You just can't compare. 4K ultra fine detail. Okie dokie. Let's reset. So, the LEMI is described as a small, easy-to-use, semi-automatic pistol with average firing power. Alright, and take a good look at those statistics down there, because when I overview this weapon with full parts and upgrades, they're gonna be different. So the location of the LEMI is right after picking up the knife in the same house that it's in. After picking up the knife, you come into this room, and you check behind this curtain, and a cutscene will play out. And here it is.
Take it.
And as mentioned, they bring back custom parts from Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. So here are the custom parts for the LEMI. We first got the high capacity mag, a customizable part for a handgun, greatly increases ammo capacity. I can't move this one around. I can only zoom in and out. That's interesting. All right. And we also got the recoil compensator, customizable part for a handgun, greatly increases firepower. Okay. So the high-capacity mag could be acquired through the Duke after you meet him for the first time. Now, where I am here isn't actually the very first time you meet him. This is the first save that has him, so that's why I had to do this. But you can get the LEMI high-capacity mag from the very moment that you meet the Duke. It's in supplies. You can go to the parts. And there it is, LEMI high-capacity mag. So the location of the recoil compensator for the LEMI is right after defeating the first Dimitrescu daughter in the kitchen. The recoil compensator will be in the suitcase over here. And there you go. This is the area, just for your reference. Alright, so that's the weapon and parts. So let's give it the good old overview and test it out. First with no parts or upgrades. So what makes this game really interesting is there are actually two different reload animations for your weapons, depending on the type of weapon. So you saw right there, he did a regular reload, right? But if you have only a partial clip, check out the reload. He does what's known as a tactical reload, which he takes the partial clip, puts it away, and reloads with a full clip. It's not to waste that clip that still has ammo in it. So it's really nice they're getting more realistic with the weaponry. This is where the block animation really is going to come into play with the firearms, so check it out. He'll fire it one-handed like this. No difference to the reload though if you're blocking. So here's the LEMI with all of the parts and full upgrades, just to inspect it. Quite different than its unupgraded counterpart. Alright, so let's test it out now. A lot more ammo. Alrighty, so there's the LEMI for you guys. Now, all of the pistols I'm going to test on the most basic enemy that I consider in this game. It is called the Moroaika. Alright, so after all of those tests, I conclude it will take between 11 and 13 shots with the LEMI to defeat a Moroaika if you go for the torso only like I do. with these weapon tests. Of course, I always recommend go for the headshot if you can manage. It is a little tough in this game. These enemies are very squirrely and they move around a lot. But yep. All right, now let's test the LEMI fully upgraded. Alright, so multiple tests shows it took me 7 shots to defeat a Moraika with the fully upgraded LEMI. So the difference between 12 on average to 7 nearly doubles the damage once you fully upgrade this thing. So that's gonna conclude the LEMI.
Your bullets cannot harm.
So stay out of my way.
Now for the next pistol, a very recognizable one, the M1911. Check that out. All right, a comfortable fully automatic handgun. Hold down the trigger to fire a continuous string of bullets. All right, so the location of the M1911 handgun is here at the workshop in the village. After defeating Lady Dimitrescu, you can shoot the padlock off this door, come in here, and then you come into your left. And you can examine this photo. And on the back, look out the window. This is just all hinting on what you need to do. And as you can see, there's a code. Oh my God. So yep, there's the combination. And that is to this lock in this cupboard. There we go. And looky here, M1911. Now let's check out its custom parts. First, we got the improved grip. Nice, nice. Customizable part for a handgun. I'm going to skip that part of the description because it's clearly going to be the same every single time. So this greatly reduces recoil. And then a high-capacity mag, it's probably self-explanatory, greatly increases ammo capacity. So yeah, these don't require too much inspection, really. The improved grip for the 1911 can be found with the Duke after defeating Beneviento.
Does this look familiar to you?
We'll go to supplies, and there it is, the M1911, improved grip. The location of the high-capacity mag for the M1911 handgun can be found in Moreau's Reservoir. After draining the water, you'll follow him like this, and you'll come into this shack. It's very dark at first, and come across this case, and there it is, the M1911 high-capacity mag. Alright, so now let's test out the M1911 and test out what it's describing. Because it's an automatic handgun, yeah, I should be able to hold the trigger down, and this does have a solid firing rate. So here we go. Pretty fast. Now let's see the tactical reload. Sure enough, and then the block. Alrighty, now let's check out the M1911 fully upgraded. Ooh, yep. So now let's test it out. It's almost a machine pistol at that point. Wow, so the fire rate is quite higher than the unupgraded counterpart. That's a big plus right there. Alright, I'm excited to test this weapon on a Moraika. Alright, so multiple test indicates that it takes about 7 shots with the non-upgraded 1911 to take down a Mora Aika. Now let's test it out, fully upgraded. Okay, so based on numerous tests, it appears that the firepower isn't dramatically upgraded with this weapon when it comes to upgrades. Some tests also took 7 shots regardless of being fully upgraded. I feel like one took less, like 6, but yeah, not a huge firepower increase. However, what we do know is there's really no use with the LEMI over the 1911 at all. Well, that is going to conclude the M1911. Time for the next pistol, and this is interesting because this is also a throwback weapon, the V61. Anyone who's played it knows that this weapon is from Resident Evil 5, and in that game it was known as the VZ61, and it was one of the weakest submachine guns in that game. In this game, however, it's regarded as a pistol. So let's check it out. A powerful, fully automatic machine pistol, capable of even greater firepower after customization. Alright, so the V61 isn't available until you reach Heisenberg's factory and you come across the Duke again.
Seeking something in particular?
Go to weapons, and there it is, the V61 Custom.
Looking forward to testing it out?
Alright, so here are the V61's custom parts. It's got 3 of them. First you got the gun stock, which greatly reduces recoil. You also got the long barrel, which greatly increases firepower. And finally, the drum magazine, which greatly increases ammo capacity. So a lot of these custom parts are just enhancing the individual statistics of the weapon, more or less. The gun stock for the V61 could also be found with the Duke, along with the weapon itself. Parts, and there you go, the gun stock. Both the long barrel and the drum magazine custom parts for the V61 can be found with the Duke once you begin a new game plus.
Oh, good. I was just thinking of ways to pass the time.
And there they are, long barrel and drum magazine. All right, here it is in game, looking nice as ever compared to its Resident Evil 5 counterpart. Let's test this thing out. Nice. Tactical reload. There's barely a difference except the ending animation. And then blocking. Alright, now let's check out the V61 fully upgraded. You will not recognize it. Look at that. Those 3 custom parts alone completely changed the gun. Alright. Now let's test it out. I like how he still wields it one-handed when you're in block animation. But if you hold it, then he can't get back into block. Alright, so this weapon is crazy once you fully upgrade it, and I can tell y'all, unlike most games in the past, this game almost forces you to use each next version of each weapon class because they're all overall much better than the previous gun in the lineup. So that's one of the disappointing things about this game, I have to say. They don't have a variety to choose from, really. Alright, so let's go ahead and test the V61 on a Mora Aika. They don't have a chance. Alright, so based on a few tests, it appears to take between 6 and 7 shots for the V61 with no parts or upgrades to defeat a Mora Aika. Now let's try this beast fully upgraded. So based off multiple tests, it took between 4 and 5 shots with a fully upgraded V61 to take down Morokai. So this is definitely the most powerful handgun pistol in the game. All right, that is it for the V61. Now for the next pistol, the USM-AI. A mid-sized semi-automatic gun that Chris has customized for equally high power, accuracy, and firing rate. So yeah, as it sort of indicates, this weapon is actually first seen when you're playing as Chris in his section of the game. The reason I have it with Ethan here is because after completing the game, you can buy it from the in-game store for 20,000 CP. And I'm going to show it off with Ethan since he has the better lighting. So let's test it out. Wow. So this weapon has a mean fire rate, as you saw right there. I'm gonna examine it again and look at the rate of fire. It's 0.13, nearly a tenth of a second. It's almost an automatic pistol, but it isn't. I still have to hit the trigger myself. I can't just hold it. All right, so this weapon, unlike all the handguns we've seen so far, does not receive upgrades. So that's the complete overview of it. So let's go ahead and test this on a Morokai. Alright, so based on multiple tests of the USM-AI, takes between 4 and 5 shots to defeat Morokai. So about the same firepower as a fully upgraded V61. So it's up to you which one you want to use. I mean, while this isn't an automatic pistol like the V61, if you spam the trigger, it is pretty fast firing. It doesn't have nearly as big of a capacity as the V61, but depending on your preferences, the V61 and the USM-AI are neck and neck when it comes to firepower. All right, well that is going to conclude the USM-AI.
Chris? What the hell?
Sorry, Ethan.
No! What? Why?
Now for the last handgun. A throwback, sort of. The Samurai Edge, AW Model 01. You'll recognize this from Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This was that really special handgun you get at the end of the main campaign, which was then unlockable for use of the whole campaign, even though it didn't have nearly the same firepower. But you can only get this in Resident Evil Village. You had to purchase the Trauma Pack. But anyway, check it out. Looks pretty dang good. Just like the USM-AI, this cannot be upgraded. So let's test it out. Okie dokie. So let's test this final handgun on a Morokai. So 3 tests in a row all took 11 shots, so I'm just going to go ahead and conclude this weapon as to taking around 11 shots to defeat a Morokai with the Albert 01. Now, this weapon not being upgradable, it's only useful for maybe the first bit of the game, pretty much an alternative to the LEMI, if you will. Okie dokie, that is going to conclude the Samurai Edge AW Model 01, as well as all pistols.